Well, this guy is injured. So that's a bit of a problem. Welcome back, everybody, to Beyond the Stats. My name's Isaac. I'm your host. And it looks like I won't be doing my episode on how my favorite players did in week one because my favorite player was injured. So that's just fantastic. I was going to plan on kind of doing that as sort of a every other week or every 3 weeks sort of deal. But now I don't think I want to do it until my number one favorite player is back. So I'll be doing some more unique stuff in the future. But that's not the topic of this video anyway. This video is going to be ranking every game in the week, and then I'm also going to do power rankings right now because I figured that would be the best way to kind of do it time-wise, because there was 4 things that I wanted to do every week, that being power rankings, predictions, ranking every game, and then the 4th one, which usually would be how my favorite players did, but we're not going to do that for a little bit. I think once Worthy comes back, I'll do it every other week, every 3 weeks. It won't be an every week sort of deal, but I'll just kind of go over, maybe at mid-season I'll be how was my favorite player done up to here or what have you. But either way, so this Saturday, which will be the next episode, as well as doing the predictions, I'll also be doing something else kind of differently, and that 4th thing will be something random until we get Worthy back and we can do the favorite player stuff. But anyway, that's for a different video. Let's get into what's going on for this video. We're going to start with the rankings of the games, and then I'm going to go into my power rankings post week 1. And it's a rough one for the Chiefs and the Lions. It was not a great week for me as a Chiefs-Lions fan, but I don't know. We'll see how they do. I think they'll improve. Anyway, I went 9-7 with my picks, so above average. Not my greatest work. I will say the one reason why I kind of stopped picking games is the first time I ever picked games, I don't remember if it was 2020 or 2019, either one of those years. It was week 2 of that season was the first week that I picked all the games. I got 15 out of 15 right, and then I missed the Monday night game. I got the Monday night game wrong. It was Saints versus Raiders, and I remember I picked Saints and the Raiders won. Whatever week they had a week 2 Monday night game with Saints and Raiders, that's the week I predicted all the games right up until there, and then lost that one. And I've never gotten that good again in picks at all. I don't think I've gotten more than 13 right. I don't even know if I have gotten 13 right. I know I've gotten 12 or 11 a couple times, but 9-7 ain't a great pick ratio. I'm not gonna lie. Even if you pick them randomly, you should go 8-8. So I don't know. Not the greatest, but there were a lot of surprising games last week. And speaking of which, we will now rank those games from 16 to 1. Spend a little bit of time talking about what happened in them, if I even know what happened in them, because I can't watch every game. I watched the highlights for most of them, but some of them there was not much that went on. Number 16, the worst game of week 1 is Giants losing to Washington. I think it was 21-6. There wasn't really much that happened. Deebo Samuel looked good. He was one of my favorite players, so maybe we'll be talking about him in the exceeded expectations part of my favorite players section. We'll see. But yeah, Deebo Samuel looked pretty solid. I think he might even be their wide receiver 1. Oh, maybe. We'll see. But yeah, Giants with Russell Wilson, I don't think he's the answer. You got to turn to Jackson Dart eventually. Not a really competitive game, not one that I would be wanting to watch, even if I was a Washington fan. Number 15, we have a game that score-wise is closer than some, but I just put it here because who's watching Cardinals Saints? Let's be real here. Saints are just a miserable team. Cardinals aren't too much better. Cardinals did get the win, but yeah, I don't know. There wasn't much interesting in this game. It's not like it was a super close one. Number 14, I have the first real, or not the first, I guess Washington was a blowout, but one of the main blowouts, that being Carolina and Jacksonville. Carolina does not look very good. Jacksonville looked pretty good. It was nice to see Travis Hunter getting some reps in. He's also one of my favorite players, so we'll see how he does by midseason. But yeah, a shutout. Panthers didn't even get their touchdown until late, so not much competition there. Number 13, I have Miami and Indianapolis. The only reason I put this one higher is because it was kind of a funny shutout, or not shutout, blowout. But Daniel Jones had 2 rushing touchdowns, yay! And my Dolphins with my boy Tyreek looked bad. Hey, I'm just saying, the Chiefs need a receiver. I'm just saying. Dude, it's not going to happen, but like imagine Hill and Worthy in the same receiver room. Dude, we would be unstoppable if we ever got like all of us back, which is never going to happen apparently. Anyway, number 12, we have the Raiders and Patriots. This is another like kind of closer one, but not too special like ending wise. Wasn't like crazy like near win or what have you. Kind of an unremarkable game. Number 11, we have Detroit and Green Bay. This one was kind of rough for Detroit. Not kind of. It was very rough for Detroit. I think losing the coordinators is really going to hurt them, at least at the beginning while they get things figured out. Their offense is going to be back and clicking, I think, but like Packers are good, man. Especially that defense with Parsons. Jeez. Held him to 6 points for a while. Then Isaac Tesla had an amazing touchdown at the end, which we didn't even know was a touchdown for like 12 minutes after they scored it. So that was cool. That's the only reason I put it above there, is because that touchdown was cool. Number 10, I've got Tennessee and Denver. I think Tennessee actually had a chance to like go down and try to win it, but Denver's defense stopped them at the end. Because it was 12-20 and Tennessee like had the ball like with some amount of time left, but weren't able to get anything like really rolling. Then number 9, we've got, am I blind? Oh, Houston and Rams. So this one is, I think it's the lowest scoring game of the week overall, and if I'm not mistaken, Houston didn't get a touchdown unless they missed an extra point. There were a lot of missed extra points this week, which is weird. They might have missed one, I'm not sure, but they had 9, so I would assume 3 field goals. I don't really know. But the game-sealing play was a forced fumble, like a punch-out. You know, something I kind of want to rant about right now is I don't like the term forced fumble, because you're never forced to fumble the ball. Like, you never have to fumble the ball. Like, if somebody punches at the ball, you can always just not let it go. You can always just, like, hold on to it tighter so that it doesn't fall out. You're never forced to fumble the ball. Like, I don't know what the term that it should be called. I mean, the fumble was caused by force, but you weren't like forced to fumble. You're not like cornered in a dark alley and like, if you don't fumble, I will steal all your money. Whatever. Random rant. Back to important stuff. Number 8, I think, is San Francisco, Seattle. Not a great game for really either team. Sam Darnold didn't look amazing. I guess San Francisco had a touchdown when they were like losing later in the game, and that caused them to win. But I think I heard that George Kittle is going to be out for a little bit, so that ain't good. Another good player that got hurt. Like, dude, literally, we're the same team. We keep losing our receivers and like no one to throw to anymore, except for the fact that the Chiefs have the best quarterback in the league and the 49ers have Brock Purdy. So I don't know. Anyway, number 7, we've got Dallas and Philadelphia. So for the first half of this game was a 10 out of 10. And the last half was a 1 out of 10. Yeah, it went downhill after the whole storm ordeal. Not the best after that, but the beginning of the game was cool. I liked, there were a lot of actually good running plays by Dallas. And maybe that's because Jalen Carter was gone, but he's a pass rusher. I don't know if he would have done as much as, like, say, linebackers would against the run. Or maybe it's just some of the people they lost in free agency. I don't know. Maybe next week Pacheco can feast. We'll see. I don't know. Number 6, I've got Cincinnati, Cleveland. This was the closest game score-wise, or tied for the closest game score-wise, only a 1-point game. Joe Flacco kind of threw. The thing about the Browns is they dominated time of possession. They forced like 6 punts by the Bengals, and yet they still lost, which is crazy to me. Like, how do you get that bad? Like, how's your offense that inept? Like, the Bengals have a good offense too, so the Browns must have played like a good defensive game. But yeah, not the greatest. I saw one of the picks was like bobbled off or somebody, and then Battle caught it or whatever. I don't know if that was the game-sealing one, but if it is, then dang. Number 5, even though they lost, I still think the Chiefs-Chargers game was an entertaining one. It did come down to the end, and I will say as a Chiefs fan, when Chargers were trying to get that first down at the end, And when Herbert ran it, I thought before that play, I thought we still had a chance of winning. I think we could have still gotten the ball back, driven down. I mean, we do have Mahomes and all, but alas, our defense isn't great. I'm not gonna lie. I'm more concerned about the offense, or I'm more concerned about the defense than the offense, even with Worthy being gone. Like, Mahomes is going to do Mahomes things, but, like, if we don't get help in that secondary and that pass rush, like, it's not going to be a pretty one. Number 4 is Pittsburgh and the Jets. This was the main game that I watched in the 12 time slot, so I was able to see, like, the majority of this one. Aaron Rodgers looked kind of decent, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, I kind of counted him out, but Pittsburgh's offense kind of looked okay. And same with the Jets, honestly. Like, both of those teams, like, did better than I thought they would. I think they both went up in the power rankings despite the Jets losing. But the Steelers, Jets, I think there was, like, a fumble. I don't remember. Because they lost by 2. I think it was a fumble. And then Steelers recovered it and won. And they were, like, going down the field trying to get a field goal. So, pretty solid game there. I'd rate that one, like, 8 out of 10 as far as games go. Like, if we're being, like, generous, if we're saying, like, a tenth of the games are 10 out of 10, then I would say that's, like, an 8 out of 10. You know, it's in the top 30% of games. Number 3, we have a game that I also think is in the top 30% of games. Minnesota and Chicago. Honestly, maybe even top 20%. Minnesota, Chicago, Monday night. Minnesota had a little bit of a comeback. Honestly, the teams didn't look, or at least Minnesota didn't look very good in the first half, but then adjusted and looked pretty good in the second half. And Chicago kind of did the opposite. They looked pretty solid in the first half, and then not so much in the second half. Kind of got beat around there by the Vikings at the end. But good job by the Vikings to come back and win. My parents were pretty happy about that. Yeah. I do think the Bears are going to be decent this year. I think their offense is going to be better under Ben Johnson for sure. And I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see how J.J. McCarthy, like, impacts the Vikings offense. Yeah, we'll see. Number 2, I've got Tampa Bay, Atlanta. Lots of interesting big plays in this one, like the Bijan Robinson rushing play at the beginning, and then all for it to end on a missed field goal by Younghoe Koo. One of the better kickers in the league, too. Unfortunate, but, yeah, solid game, all things considered. Definitely was an interesting one. I saw the end of that one after the Steelers-Jets game, but yeah. And then I don't think there's any question about this. Could potentially be the game of the year already. Baltimore-Buffalo at number 1. It's not often that a team scores 40 points and loses, but it happened on Sunday night in one of the best opening week games that we've ever seen. I don't know what it is, but, like, every year there seems to be, like, a really good week 1 game. And I'm happy with that because, it gets me back into football in a great way. This one is definitely a 10 out of 10 game. Saw most of it. I don't really love watching some teams, like, I will kind of hate watch the Bills and Bengals, but I don't really watch the Browns as much. I don't know if I went over this, but my least favorite team in the NFL is the Browns. I think I might have gone over that, but whatever. I'll make a video dedicated to why I don't like the Browns because it is something that I do want to talk about. Yeah, the Ravens I do actually enjoy watching because they are my favorite of the better AFC teams that aren't the Chiefs. Derrick Henry, man, he just doesn't age. He's just always good, and it's ridiculous. And Lamar too. Like, yeah, Derrick Henry had that fumble, which allowed them to like do the thing where they came back and whatever. But like, honestly, that was all Josh Allen. Like, I don't care what you say, he still has one of the worst receiver rooms in the league. James Cook was good, but like, the defense wasn't doing him any favors, letting up 40 points, not being able to tackle Derrick Henry. It was all Josh Allen. Josh Allen's a fantastic quarterback, but his receivers, like, they're just giving the ball to him. Like, if they don't have Josh Allen, they do not win that game. Like, that is all Josh Allen. That's the fact that they pulled that one out. So yeah, that'll be a tough one to beat. When I go back at the end of the year and I do ranking the best game from every week, that'll be a tough one to beat. That's a good starting one for sure. Yeah, I'm trying to think, because I remember there was like a Ravens-Raiders game in week 1 a couple years back that was really good. And then, Actually, one of my favorite NFL games I've ever seen was Week 1, I think 3 years ago now, 2022, Week 1. It was between Steelers and Bengals. It was the game where it went into overtime, and there just kept being so much fluke stuff by the Steelers defense. I think Bengals were driving down the field at the end of the game. They were down by 6 and took 3 shots at the end zone, missed, and then on 4th down with 4 seconds left, Burrow hit Chase, touchdown, and then they went to kick the extra point, and the Steelers blocked it, sending it to overtime. And then Steelers went down, weren't able to do anything. Then the Bengals went down and were at the 20-yard line, and they completely terribly missed a field goal, shanked it super hard. And this was back when McPherson was this was after the Bengals had made it to the Super Bowl. McPherson was considered one of the best young kickers in the league. And then he did that, he missed that, and then the Steelers went down, and then they were at the 40 or something, did their own field goal, and it doinked off the upright. And then Bengals went back again, did their own thing, and punted in overtime with a minute left for some reason. Why are you punting in overtime at this point? Just take the loss. They gave Pittsburgh's offense, which was inept, just enough time to get all the way back into field goal range and kick a game winner as time expired. One of my favorite games ever, not just because the Bengals lost, but also because there was so many random twists and turns, and it was and I was able to actually watch the full game and get the full grasp of it. But yeah, solid Week 1 performance. But man, I'm scared of both the Ravens and the Bills. They're big and scary. I don't know how to deal with them. I don't have Worthy. We don't have Worthy anymore. We gotta face both of them. At least we'll have Rice back when we face the Bills, but still. Okay. And then I am also going to predict the Thursday night game because I won't do a video before that game happens. So I'll do that prediction at the end of the video as well. But for now, let's do a quick rundown of the power rankings as well as major changes, or how much they changed from last week. So the bottom two, New Orleans and Cleveland, have not changed. They're still 32 and 31 respectively. Not much is going to change until they win. 30 is New York, who went down 2 spots. Not a great game. 29 is Carolina, moving down 5 spots, and 28 is Miami, also moving down 5 spots. Both got blown out. Kind of similar reasoning for both. Not much else to talk about there. They're both not going to do good this year. Number 27 is Tennessee, who actually moved up 2 spots after a loss because, Cam Ward looked okay. Didn't score a touchdown that I'm aware of, but, it's whatever. It's his first game, and he's playing against the NFL's top defense. What do you expect? Number 26, I have New England, who moved down 4 spots. I think this was, based on last week's power rankings, that was the biggest upset that I predicted correctly, was Raiders beating New England. But they did, and good for them. I didn't realize before the game that New England didn't have their top corner, Christian Gonzalez, but if that were the case, then I probably would have ranked them a bit lower for last week and maybe even ranked the Raiders a bit higher, I don't know. Number 25, we have the Jets, who moved up 5 spots after a actually pretty good performance by Justin Fields. I didn't expect it, but he did it. He had a good game. Number 24, I have Dallas, who also moved up +2. Kept it closer with the Eagles than I would have thought. I'm glad they did too, because that gives me a little bit of hope for next week. If Dallas can get within 4 points of the Eagles, maybe the Chiefs can beat them. I don't know. We'll see. I probably am still gonna pick the Eagles for an actual prediction, but we'll see. Number 23, I have Indianapolis, who did move up 2 spots. I don't think their fluke was, or I don't think their win was just a product of being good. I think it was more of a fluke, and against a defense that is that bad and a secondary that doesn't have a lot of great points on it. They got Minkah Fitzpatrick, but I don't know. Who's their cornerbacks? I don't even really know. Yeah, but Daniel Jones had himself a game, and I don't think he's going to do that all the time. We've seen how inconsistent he is. Yeah, moved up 2 spots. Number 22, we have Las Vegas moving up 5 spots. Again, I think they're going to be an okay team. I don't think they're going to be amazing. Still think they're going to get last in the division, but currently the Chiefs are in last because everybody else won. Great. 21, we have Seattle moving down 2 spots. I think we kind of knew that Sam Darnold was kind of going to be mid. I don't think he threw a touchdown. I think their only touchdown was a rushing. So, like, just like decent, under 200 yards, no touchdowns, kind of lackluster performance that we thought there. Number 19, I have Arizona, who actually moved down 2 spots after winning. I think they should have beaten the Saints by more than that, but I don't know. My boy Will Johnson didn't even really get involved, at least that I was able to see. I didn't watch that game. Like, let's be honest, that's the game that I know the least about because Arizona and New Orleans. Number 20, I have Atlanta, who moved up 1 even after a kind of embarrassing loss. Or number 19, I have Atlanta. Last week they were 20. I don't know. Bijan looks good, but and Penix also looks good, but I don't know. They were able to keep it close with Tampa Bay, and I think they could move up in due time. I just don't think I'm quite ready to move them up like significantly quite yet. Number 18, I have Jacksonville, who went up 3 spots. I'm glad that their defense did pretty solid. I know Bryce Young didn't look great. I think he threw 2 picks, if I'm not mistaken, but I don't know. Yeah, their defense kind of showed out. They were able to hold them to 3 for like most of the game, and offense looked passable, I suppose. Trevor Lawrence didn't look the worst he's looked ever. But yeah. 17, I have Houston, who actually went down 6 spots. Yeah, you're going to need to score more than 9 points if you want to be ranked high. Like, it was not a great showing by Houston's offense. Defense did look good, but, like, we knew they were going to look good. But still, like, the Rams have a great receiving core. They have Puka and Devontae. But, like, and they held him decently, but dude, the offense has got to score more points than that. CJ Stroud's got to get back to the form he was at, or else it's not going to be a good time for y'all. Number 16, I have Chicago, who actually moved up 1 spot after losing, because they did look good in the first half. I think they have potential to be a good team this year. I still think there's a potential, however small, that all the NFC North teams make the playoffs this year. I'm trying to think if there's any other... I guess Washington, but, like, I don't know. I don't think Washington's going to do it, personally. San Francisco, I guess, too, but either way. Number 15, not moving any spots, I have Cincinnati. I think this is about how I expected them to do this week, because they always start off the first week a little, like, rusty. Offense didn't look great, I'm not going to lie. There wasn't a ton of, like, great plays, and Cleveland's defense only held them to, like, 17 points. So, like, gonna need to do a little bit better than that once he gets to start facing these, like, better offenses that can, like, actually expose your defense for what it really is. Number 14, I have Pittsburgh, who only went up 2 spots. I think, in retrospect, might even put them a little bit higher because they did have a pretty good offensive performance. Defense is going to be as good as ever. They didn't play insanely well against the Jets, but, like, I think they'll be fine. I think Pittsburgh could be primed for, like, moving up, even maybe into the top 10 next week. We'll see. Number 13, I've got Denver, who moved down 4 spots. Yeah, the offense didn't look great. I'm not going to lie. Bo Nix threw 2 picks. He's not... he didn't look like the best quarterback out there. But their defense still looked solid. They are playing a rookie QB, so, like, there's not, like, too much that can be said for that, but, like, either way, solid performance. They got the win. They got what they needed, but I don't think they're quite a top 10 team right now in my eyes. Number 12, Minnesota, +1. They moved up a spot. I think Kevin O'Connell is going to do a great job and continue to do a great job with J.J. McCarthy. Good comeback there at the end, and I think they will be able to make a solid push for sure. Number 11, we have San Francisco, who went up a spot. I made this list before I knew about George Kittle's injury. Maybe for, like, next week they should be a bit lower. Maybe I might, like, swap them with Pittsburgh if I, like, remade this list. But, like, I made this list, like, right after the Vikings-Bears game. I didn't really know about Kittle's injury. But for this week, they might not be that high. But I think for the future, if Kittle's healthy, this is a good spot for him. Purdy's okay. The defense is okay. The offense is okay. Everything's kind of okay. Number 10, I have Detroit moving down 5 spots. It was a rough one, I'm not going to lie. But I think they'll be fine. I think they're just going to get time. They're just going to need time to get used to Ben Johnson. The coordinators are going to be fine. They still have Dan Campbell. He's still a great head coach. He's going to help them a lot. The offense is going to be back to where it was. I still think it is going to be top 5 in due time. I will say Jahmyr Gibbs got really bottled up, and yeah, that was kind of annoying because I had him on my fantasy team, but I don't know. What can you do? Goff is going to get better. The run game will get better. They were playing a pretty solid defense in Green Bay, so you got to include that into your calculations. Number 9, we have the Rams moving down 3 spots. They only scored 2 touchdowns, but they were facing the best defense in the league. Puka looked good. I didn't really see how Devontae did, but Puka looked pretty solid. So I think this team is they're gonna have a fine year offensively. And you know what? The defense did pretty well in limiting Houston. So pretty solid performance by the Rams, all things considered. Number 8, I have Tampa Bay going +2. The only reason I didn't put them higher is because they did almost lose to the Falcons, which, to be fair, the Falcons should have placed a bit higher. I don't know. We'll see. This is a really shaky kind of area. This 9 through 6 is all kind of a bit interchangeable. But yeah, Tampa Bay does pretty solid. Their offense looked good. Emeka Egbuka looked like he could be a pretty solid receiver. Low key, he might even pass Godwin up as the Buccaneers wide receiver 2 by the end of the year. We'll see. Number 7. Falling 5 spots from the number 2 spot last week, we have the Kansas City Chiefs. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It was bad. The defense did not look great. The offense was okay in the 3rd quarter and the 4th quarter. I think losing Worthy that early on in the game kind of shook the offense up, and it forced them to change their game plan, and I think that's why they weren't able to get into a rhythm as early as they would like. The Chiefs do need momentum in order to be good. If they start off a game unhot, it's very rare for them to come back and be able to be 100% again. But if they start off good and then they get down, they can come back for sure. But they can't really do anything if their defense just kind of lets Herbert do whatever he wants. I don't know if I'm more concerned about the secondary of the pass rush right now because, yeah, the safeties got burned a little bit, but overall, I think we still have McDuffie. I think Jaden Hicks is going to have some growing pains working into that safety 1 role that Justin Reed had. I might be open to bringing in a better safety, a veteran, but I think overall I might be more concerned with a pass rush, weirdly enough, because we have Chris Jones, we have Charles Omenihu, we have the new Ashton Gelati, who look pretty solid, and we have George Karlaftis too. That's a pretty good defensive front, and yet we weren't able to get any pressures on an offensive line that's missing its best player. What's going on there, guys? I don't know. Our linebackers look fantastic. Drew Tranquil had an amazing game. Did he have 2 sacks? I think he might have had 2 sacks. We did get more sacks than the Chargers got on us, but that's because our offensive line played pretty well. But again, Jawan Taylor needs to stop getting flagged. That was kind of the main problem with the offense, I'm not going to lie. It was not even really the lack of Worthy. I think Worthy is not a necessity for the Chiefs offense to succeed. He just is going to help them be able to go into a higher gear to get 30 to 40 points a game. I think if Worthy and Rice are healthy, we're going to be able to score 30 every game. But it's going to be a problem of if our defense can hold. And right now, in the current state of the defense, I don't think it can. So Chiefs are number 7. Number 6, I've got Washington moving up 1 spot. Commanders did pretty good. Deebo Samuel looked solid. Jaden Daniels looked okay. Overall, they just did a pretty solid job of holding off an opponent who I think they should have beaten. A lot of people were actually picking the Giants to win as an upset, but I think that's just because of how good Jackson Dart looked in the preseason. People weren't really realizing that Giants have Russell Wilson starting at QB. And yeah, the Giants have probably one of the best defensive lines in the league, but other than that and Malik Neighbors, you got no one else. And like with Russell Wilson out there, you're not having anyone good to throw Malik Neighbors the ball. Like Malik Neighbors can't be good if he doesn't get the ball. So they got a good defensive line, which it's going to be tough for the Chiefs O-line to contain them in week 3, but that's down the road. We'll talk about that later. Number 5, the highest jump up of any team. We have the Chargers going from 14 to number 5, moving up 9 spots. They looked good. Herbert had one of the best days of his career. I've always said I think he's a top 5 quarterback in this league. I think my quarterback rankings as of now, I probably should make a video on this, but like my top 10 quarterbacks are the top 4 are the 4 we all know. They're interchangeable with each other kind of on a daily basis. I think my top 3 are Mahomes, Allen, Lamar, and then Burrow's 4. Then I have Herbert, Hurts, Goff, Stafford. We'll get to the rest later. I don't remember my exact list. Oh yeah, Daniels is also there, but I don't think he's higher than like 8th, honestly. Yeah, we'll go over the quarterback rankings in a future video. For now, I just want to finish up this. Number 4, we have the Green Bay Packers. They looked pretty good, and their defense looked really scary with Micah Parsons. The offense looked like it was clicking. Love was spreading the ball around a lot. Yeah, it was just a solid performance by every facet of their game, and I'm sure Tom Grassi will be happy. Number 3, a team that, based on their performance last week, the fact that they didn't move up is a travesty, and that's the Ravens. They did so well, and they're still going to stay at 3 just because of how I'm making this list. I think they looked the second most impressive of any team on this list. In fact, I think they looked the first most impressive of any team on this list, but they happened to just fumble the ball at the right time, and Josh Allen took advantage, so I can't really move them up. They're going to stay at number 3 because I still think that, at the very least, they are the 3rd best team in this league. Number 2, we have the Buffalo Bills. I made a rule that until the Eagles lost, they are going to stay at number 1. So Eagles are number 1. Their offense didn't really do much in the second half of the one game, but like they aren't up to their full potential yet. Like Saquon didn't really Saquon. AJ Brown definitely did not AJ Brown. And Jalen Carter was out for the whole game. So yeah, but Buffalo, it's really just Josh Allen at this point. Like James Cook is good, yes. Their offensive line is pretty solid. But their receivers are not great. I'm not going to lie. They have one of the worst receiver corps in the league. And if anyone starts saying that, like, oh, Keon Coleman, like, they were good to give up Worthy and take Keon Coleman instead, no, they were not. They would have been better with Worthy. Anyone who says that's lying. Their receiver corps is not great. Josh Allen's just carrying him. He's a fantastic quarterback, and I'm scared. But, yeah, either way, Bills managed to get the win. I don't know. If they would have lost, I probably still would have put them at 3 because those were the 2 best performances of any 2 teams for sure. I think for the first 55 minutes of the game, the Ravens looked like the better team, but Buffalo was able to pull it out in the end, so good on them. They're going to move up 2 spots into the number 2 spot for this week's ranking. And with that will be the end of this part, or the ranking part at least. There's one more thing we have to do in this video, and that's pick the Thursday game. So for the first game of week 2, I am going to pick the Packers to beat the Commanders. I think it's going to be a good game, but I think the defense is going to be able to overpower Washington's offense, and I think they'll sack him a couple times. I don't know how great Washington's O-line is, but I do know that they played a pretty good defensive line last week. So I do think Washington will put up more points than the Lions did last week against the Packers, but I still think the Packers will be able to pull it out, so I'm picking the Packers. I don't do final score predictions. I'm going to YOLO one in the dark, though, just because why not? I think I'm going to say that Washington's going to score the same number of points. I think I'm going to go 28-21 Packers. So that's my prediction for the game on Thursday, and that was my power rankings and game rankings. We'll come back on Saturday with predictions for the rest of the games, as well as a little extra bit. It'll be the 4th bit of the week, 2 bits per video. I I have a bunch of ideas for those bits until like Worthy gets back and I can start doing the favorite player thing. But yeah, I'd like to thank you guys for watching this video. And if you enjoyed, remember to leave a like and subscribe to my channel. It helps me out a lot. And I'll see you guys in the next episode of Beyond the Stats. Goodbye.